Hello everybody, this is the Daydreamer with Daydreams and Nightmares, and this is my welcome to my Collection Wednesdays. And this will be the last bit of my New Mutants run. I have all of the books between 81 and 100 now. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't have them all, and I'll explain when I go through this. What you're looking at right now is New Mutants number 81. The cover art on this one was done by Lewis Williams and Josef Rubinstein, with writing done by Chris Claremont. This is kind of a one-shot in between the storyline with the New Mutants in Asgard. It's kind of a little bit of a break in between storylines with this one single shot with different cover artists and a different writer. Storyline is, well, I was showing, featuring Magma and Hercules. Kind of a one-shot story. And we have number 82 of the New Mutants, face Garm, the Guardian of the Netherworld. This is a continuation of the previous story in issue number 80, in which the New Mutants found themselves in Asgard. Cover here is done by Brett Blevins and L. Williamson. Louise Simonson is doing the storylines for these, and this is part 5 of a 8-issue story arc with the New Mutants in Asgard. We go issue number 83 of the New Mutants. Once again, this is the continuation of the storyline. Once again, part 6 of 8. This one's called The Quick and the Dead. Brett Blevins is doing the cover. Louise Simonson is doing the writing. And starting with this particular storyline, we introduce a Vulture to the storyline, as making an appearance through the rest of this story arc. New Mutants number 84. It's the first one for the New Mutants that's part of the Acts of Vengeance, or the the Acts of Vengeance crossover. This is part 7 of 8 of the story, the Asgard storyline. This one's called The Sword's Edge. Cover art here is done by Terry Shoemaker and L. Milgram, and once again, Louise Simonson is doing story. New Mutants to enter the Hive of Doom. Number 85, and this is where the New Mutants world takes a little bit of a turn, because we now have on board doing art for the New Mutants Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. This is also part of the crossover of Acts of Vengeance, the last story in the arc of the Asgard with the New Mutants. This one's called The Killing Stroke, and Louise Simonson was doing the story for this as well, but this is part of the very first time that we have Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane doing art for the New Mutants. You can see down here with both of them being involved for the first time with the New Mutants. And this is a book I just picked up and just received, and I think I may have shown it. Yep, I just put up a video for an entry for Doom 143 and Alex the Comic Hoarder, showing some of the pickups I've had recently got. And this is one of them. It's an 8.0 of the New Mutants number 86. You do have Vulture on here as well. And this is the very first time that you will see the cameo of Cable. This is where he makes his first appearance, but doesn't make his first full appearance until the next issue. But once again, this is the last one in the series of the story arc of the Asgard story. And we are still, as hiding behind here, still in the Acts of Vengeance crossovers. Now, this one here is the first full appearance of Cable, number 87. A very popular comic book. This is the very first printing. It has the red background. They did do a second printing of this, which has a gold background. This is called A Show of Power. Art here is once again done by, I don't know if you can see it down here, Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane, once again, working together on the art for this. And as I mentioned, I said I have all the books, but if you want to be a truist and a completist in collecting these, believe it or not, I don't have the gold version. I only have the first printing. I don't actually have a copy of the gold version. So if I was going to be a true completist, I suppose I need to get myself a copy of that as well. But once again, for this issue, I just have the first appearance. Oh, and also in this particular storyline too, there is an appearance by Mystique. Number 88. Once again, Rob McFarlane and Rob Liefeld do cover art here. Louise Simonson is doing the storyline. It's called The Great Escape. You have appearance by Freedom Force. You got Blob in the background there. This is part 3 of 4 of a storyline. And apparently there was also a second printing of this as well, in which there was a gold cover. And once again, I do not have that. I only have the first printing of it. And in this particular story arc as well, this is the last one, 404 of this story arc. And once again, artwork done by Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. It's known as The Gift. And also continuation and appearance of Freedom Force as well. And the last one in this bunch is New Mutants number 90. Now this is cover done by Rob Liefeld, but instead of Todd McFarlane, we have Scott Williams. Lee Simonson is doing story. This also features a storyline, as you can see here. The issue, Caliban, Sabretooth, the Danger Room, and new costumes. Need we say more? And if you can see right up here in the corner as well, this is actually one of mine that I have signed by Rob Liefeld as well. And New Mutants 91. Cover art by Rob Liefeld and Scott Williams. Story once again by Lee Simonson. This is story is done by Lee Simonson and Fabian Nicieza. If I say, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Nicieza. This is called Pray for the Living. This is the second part of the storyline with Sabretooth and Caliban. Number 92 of the New Mutants. This is kind of a one-shot. This was written by Dwight Zimmerman, kind of a step away from Louise Simonson, who'd been doing the writing. Rob Liefeld did do the cover. This is called When the Carnival Comes to Town. It's kind of a flashback story for the New Mutants here. It's kind of takes place, like I said, it takes place in between stories here. And the unique thing about this comic book as well is there is a pinup inside the comic book of the New Mutants done by Rob Liefeld. Next one. As you can already tell from the cover, New Mutants number 93. This two-part story arc, we have an appearance by Wolverine himself taking on Cable. You knew it had to happen. Cable versus Wolverine. All this in Sunfire 2. Again, we're also back to a collaboration of Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. And once again, two-part story. Does include continued appearance by Wolverine. Cover's done by Rob Liefeld. No Todd McFarlane on this one. Story done by Louise Simonson. Number 95. This is the first one of the New Mutants that's involved in the Extinction Agenda. The title of this particular one is Shell Game. There is two versions of this. There's first printing, which has a blue background, which is the one you're looking at, and then there's a second printing, which is gold. There is, like I said, this is part of the Extinction Agenda, which has a crossover storyline for the next 3 books, in which character appearances from X Factor and Uncanny X-Men are involved in all 3 books, and there's different parts of different stories and different parts of these X Factor, Uncanny X-Men, and New Mutants. So you have to get actually all 3 of the titles. This particular one is part 2 of 9. So I'm assuming, like I said, with 3 books in it, each book has 1/3 of the storyline. And as I had said, this comes in a gold version as well, which is the second printing of this. And in this particular one, I actually do have both. And if you're keeping count, that's 2 books I don't have if I want to be a completist and actually have multiple the first and second printings of everything as well. Number 96. This is cover art by Rob Liefeld and Art Thibert. Pronouncing his name is right. AT on the bottom down there. Liefeld down below there, and actually Rob Liefeld's signature on this one as well. This is another one that I have a signature from Rob Liefeld. Number 96 is called Shell Game. Oh no, sorry. It is called United We Stand. It is, like I said, the part 5 of 9, the second one from the New Mutants, but continued in X Factor and Uncanny X-Men. Oh, and story is still done by Louise Simonson. Number 97. Cover art by Rob Liefeld, story by Louise Simonson, called War. This is the last part of the New Mutants part in the Extinction Agenda. This is part 8 of 9 in the storyline. The last part of it continues in X Factor number 62. And once again, this is another one of the books that I do have signed by Rob Liefeld. It's actually signed on the side here as well. Number 98. Probably one of the more sought after books in this whole run. For the biggest reason possible. 3 first appearances, most important of them being Deadpool. Yeah, first appearance of Deadpool, first appearance of Gideon, and first appearance of Domino. All in this book. It's also part of the last story arc of the New Mutants. 3 stories left, and that is the end of the New Mutants. In this particular book, storyline is called The Beginning of the End, Part 1. Number 99. Beginning of the End, Part 2. And you see some changes within the group as well. You see the addition of Warpath joining the New Mutants. And you see Sunspot leaving the New Mutants. And according to what I've read on this, this cover here is also based on John Byrne's Uncanny X-Men 138. Cover done by Rob Liefeld in honor of that particular book. Also, this last 3 arc storyline, in which the story is actually done by Rob Liefeld as well as the art, and in collaboration as far as script is concerned with the Fabian Nicieza, the guy whose name I can't pronounce. Fabian and Rob. And last but not least, number 100. This is a giant-sized 52-page comic book, priced at $1.50, which is 50 cents up from a normal print. This is a cover art done by Rob Liefeld, and also once again collaboration between him and Fabian doing the story and script. This is part 3 of the story arc, but instead of being the beginning of the end, it's the end of the beginning, because after this particular issue, they are no longer the New Mutants, they become the X-Force. So technically this is also the first cameo of X-Force. And the printing of this particular issue actually has 3 printings. The first printing is purple in the background, which is what you're looking at, the very first printing of this. And once again, not being the completest that I am, I don't have the gold, which is the second printing, or the silver, which is the third printing. So all told, unless I can get my hands on some of the second printings, which actually should be easier to get than these firsts, I'm short 4 of the second printings, well 3 second printings and 1 third printing to be a completist. As a bonus, I also have the New Mutants Annual number 1 and New Mutants Annual number 7, and that is the full run of that as well. Comic book ran for 7 years. This is the very first one right here. That is the last one there with Annual number 7, and I don't have any of the ones in between either, so I have 1 and 7, but I don't have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, so I'm missing the 5 annuals in between. But that is my entire New Mutants collection. I hope you enjoyed watching. And I better stop talking before this gets too long. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you liked what you saw. If you did, please hit like, subscribe if you want to watch more, and feel free to leave any feedback or comments down below. And thank you for watching.